Hello!
Hi, welcome in our new video. Now we are in Normandy in France, and we want to invite you for a journey through this beautiful area.
Yes, we are.
We want to begin from not a very typical point, a nuclear energy plant in Seine. Actually, we can see only a part of it because the main buildings are located over the mountain, over there. France has been very active in developing nuclear technology. Now, about 75% of its electricity comes from nuclear energy. Government want to reduce it to 50% in 15 years. What's interesting, about 17% of electricity in France comes from recycled nuclear fuel.
Even though the whole area around Penly is highly guarded and it's surrounded by the very high fence with the electric power attached to it, they also thought about making a small path to the beach so people around here can go there and just do stuff. So now we can feel like we are in the prison or something like that, because everywhere above me there are heavy guarded things. Normandy is not only about the nuclear energy, of course. It's also about its unique and magnificent coastline, which you can see right here. So, here we have cliffs, and in front of them there is something which in Normandy is considered as a beach. Maybe it's not something you can know from Mallorca or Bahamas, but this is the place where there is no water, at least when there is a low tide. Speaking of tides, now I'm in the place where 2 times a day is a high water. When water comes, it brings some living water creatures with it, like moules, and it leaves it here when it goes back. So the people from around here are coming here to collect them and then sell or eat them. It's very popular activity in here, and we saw a lot of people doing that, so probably if you are coming to Normandy you can go to mule fishing, at least if you are not vegan as we are.
I think it's time to move on and check another places. We moved to Rouen, which is the capital of Normandy, and now we are going for a walk. Come on!
It's worth to mention that this big water inside the Rouen city is the Seine river, the same which you can find in Paris. We are in the small village of La Bouille, which is located on the banks of the river Seine. and it is somehow representing the style and the architecture of this region. It is also very interesting that some of the Impressionist painters were impressed by this area and these places, so they painted paintings about these topics like this river, because whole Normandy is about Impressionism because it was born here.
There are no many bridges on the river, but there are ferries.
And we can take one of them and go to the village, which is on the other side.
We are in a Norman village, or something what used to be a Norman village, at least in 17th century.
Here you can see the old building, which is built out of the wood, and between the wood there is some kind of filler, so it makes nice stripes, and the roof is covered with some straw. And probably this is kind of the typical building for this area, because we saw not one but few of this kind of buildings when we are here.
This is Le Moulin de Pierre, which you can buy, by the way, if you want to. It shows that people have always used wind for their needs. 400 years ago, it was used in mills like this one to prepare flour. But now?
And now, topic of using the wind energy comes back. French government is planning to build a lot of wind turbines on the shore of Normandy and other places in the north of France to generate the electricity. But people don't want them to do that. Why? Because the wind turbines are not that ecological at all. Quick impression about France. When you go on your phone to the Google Maps app, and there are these recommended places which you can find, like shops, petrol stations and other stuff. When you are in France, the first recommended one is a boulangerie. So it's a bakery, the place where you can buy baguettes and other bread. So this is very French stuff, like they buy a lot of it.
If you found this boulangerie or other shop where you can buy some bread, you can buy, for example, this kind of bread. So, French traditional baguette. To be honest, I'm not a big fan of bread in general, but I really like this one. And here in France, I cannot say no to it. If you're interested in some history of this bread, traditional French bread, or about kinds of it, and in general, hello dog, you want to know something more, I will prepare a post on our blog about it, so feel free to come and see.
What's amazing about the Seine river is that you can meet very big ships there, which are rather for the sea, not for the rivers, but there are some ports inside the land and they can go there, like this one.
Seine has been always a very important trail to carry goods between Paris and a sea. It's important that it cuts Normandy for two parts, so people have to cross the river very often, and they always had to. In the past, people could just cross the river on feet. They didn't need any bridges or something like that, because a river had a low level very often, especially during low tides. Yes, there are high and low tides on the river. It's because it's connected with the sea, so when sea has lower or higher water level, it also has a big impact for this river.
As Aga said, it was always very important trail. So at some point they thought that it would be maybe a good idea to deepen the river so the big ships from the sea can come further into the land. So as they thought, they did. But from this point people couldn't just walk through the river because it was too deep. So at first they just introduced some ferries coming from one side of the river to another, but at one point they thought it's not enough for a heavy traffic increasing in years in France, so they built one bridge, which is over there, and it was built in 1959. But then they thought that it would be nice to build another bridge, which is back there, and it's called Normandy Bridge. It's very long. When it was built, it holds some records for the longest suspension bridges, and both these bridges looks cool, and the big ships can go under them to the Rouen, which is the normal seaport for now.
And I can show you a bridge. It's over there. I know you cannot see it, but you have to believe me. There is one more thing that we want to show you. It's a Tréport city.
Tréport city is a typical port city located in the shore of Normandy, and we have few shots from there to show you how it looks like.
So, it's the end. And we want to thank you for your time and see you in the next movie.